All right, everybody, here's problem 2 from the midterm. Again, fairly straightforward. I was really testing out your tangents here and definitely some relations. I just said create the following sketch and extrude to 0.25 inches, and that the sketch is symmetric about both center lines. So that was a hint, again, to give you some ways to maybe mirror things if you wanted, or relations you might need. Either way, I'm not sure what I'm going to use here. We'll see. Again, I probably won't use mirror. I tend to avoid that one with sketches at least. And then take note, all these arcs have a radius dimension to them. This is the problem where I really saw people mixing up and actually putting a 0.25 diameter. And just be careful. You got to pay attention to things like that. When you finish the model, check it against this picture here on the right side of the drawing. Does it look the same? It was pretty obvious right away when the problems that had the wrong dimension here for this 0.25 radius. And then obviously all these should be tangent. I just pointed that out there with a little note for you. So anyway, let's jump into doing it. Let me switch my screen over here for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. Again, pick whatever plane you want to sketch on to start. Again, looking at the picture, to me this says start on the top plane just by the orientation of the final view there. You can use the center rectangle if you want. To me, it just leaves more lines I got to trim around later, so I avoid that one here. It doesn't have to be on the origin, or it doesn't have to be centered on the origin. So I'll just start with my bottom left corner on the origin. Go ahead and zoom out here. We need to smart dimension this thing, so I'm going to smart dimension the outside first, then we'll draw the inside. So let's go ahead and give it the overall height of 2 and a width of 3. Okay. Then I'm going to put the center lines in. Let's draw those from midpoint to midpoint here. And let's do the horizontal one. Midpoint to midpoint. So now we know our center lines are in the center of our part, and now I can draw everything based off of those. So I'm going to do the two bigger parts of this strange slot here. We can set these to symmetric. That'll keep them the same distance away from the vertical center line. And I use the vertical center line here as part of the symmetric relation. Again, holding control and selecting all three things. So they're going to be the same distance and the same diameter. So let's go ahead and put those dimensions in. We know the diameter here is 0.5 radius, which would be a 1-inch diameter. And we know that the circle's center is 1/2 inch from the center line, which is actually going to make them touch, as it won't show a tangent relation here, but really that means they're tangent. So their quadrant points are touching right there in the center. So we've got those right. We're fully defined. Now we just need to put in the other circular shape here. I'm going to use a perimeter circle, so I need to select 3 points. I'll select both edges of these circles so I know it's tangent to those. And then really the third point is going to be on the center line. You'll see it'll keep my midpoint of my circle on the center line there, so we'll just place it. And we'll put in a second one here on the top. Again, we know those have to be equal. They're already going to be in the same position because these two circles are symmetric and they're tangent to these circles, so they're going to be symmetric. We just need to make sure they're equal. And then the only thing left here would be to put in the smart dimension. You could trim it first and then smart dimension it, which would give you a radius dimension. I'm getting a diameter dimension here because I haven't trimmed it yet, so we'll put 0.5 in. And that's double the radius. That'll give us the right shape. And then we just need to trim it. So just trim off everything on the inside for the big ones and everything on the outside for the small circles. And then we have our shape. We're fully defined. You can see down here. So now I'll want to extrude it to 0.25. you know what? I forgot something. Let's go back to our sketch here. I forgot to do these in the sketch, the fillets. You can do them after. I basically said in step 2 the model should look like this, so while I wasn't explicitly saying it, maybe you'd want to do the fillets here is kind of what I was hinting at. So we'll put fillets in for all these. I'm just clicking yes, segment, this is just telling you it's going to change your dimensions, but just click yes. Okay, we should have gotten all of them there. And I want it to be a 0.5 radius on those fillets, and we'll click the check mark. Still fully defined. Everything looks good, so now let's extrude it. 0.25. Okay, and there's our basic shape. Then I just wanted you to put in a fillet and a chamfer, so fillet the outside to 0.1 radius, and chamfer is also going to be 0.1, so we'll go up here under fillet, select chamfer, select the inside edge here, make sure it follows it all the way around. We'll change, or I guess I don't need to change it here, but it's going to be a 0.1 distance, and we have a 45-degree angle. That's standard. There you go. So put that in, and that's really it for that problem. So mainly just testing your tangents and your methods to making sketches here in this one. Hope that helps. If you got any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or we can talk on the phone or something during the next class. Thanks, guys.